What up, my beautiful, powerful patients? This is your girl here, Tezra. I am your mental chiropractor. I am here to help you to realign your mind so that you can plop yourself back down into the driver's seat of your life and come up from under the programming of the colonial training. And we have here none other than one of the best subjects for colonial training, Dr. Umar Johnson or Jermaine Shoemaker. We are going to, thanks to Lenon Honor, the Umarologist, that's what I call it in honor, you all, the Umarologist. So he has a video here. We're not going to go through the whole thing. A couple of things that stood out to me that really speaks to the mindset and the conditioning and programming of the mind, because that is what is governing our lives, because it's so deeply embedded into the subconscious that we don't even know. We don't even recognize that it's actually the driving force of our lived experience. And we have a clip here, a couple of clips here where I just want to really point out, outside of all of Umar's tactics and his absurdities and the ridiculousness of it all, there are some people that are rocking with Umar and who are deeply programmed. And there's a demonstration of that in this video. And I want to just take a look at this, and so we could put this under the microscope and examine it, because all of us have a certain level of this going on in our lives. And so it's really just to be hypersensitive or hyper aware, to bring hyper awareness to where are the areas in our lives are we operating out of programming. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get this broadcast going. And thanks to Lenon Honor in all of his superb coverage of Umar Johnson. Let's go.
Lord have mercy. We are less than 20% of the United States population. Less than 20% of the United States. But we account for 90% of all beauty purchases. Perm, weave, shea butter, cocoa butter, almond butter, peppermint butter, deodorant, weave, perm.
Now, that is a very broad statement, and he does things like this all of the time, where he likes to throw out sensational numbers and percentages as if he can actually back it up with the research and who did the research. So like here, he's saying that we are responsible for 90% of the beauty industry. That could be true, it could not be true. It's a very broad statement. So when you're talking about the certain items, and because the beauty statement is a very broad industry, you all, it's a very broad industry. When we talk about the beauty industry, we're talking about, it includes plastic surgery. It includes all type of makeup. It includes all type of hair care products. And so I think it's a fallible statement to say that we are 90% of the consumers of the beauty industry. Now, if you're talking about the beauty supply stores that are in the hood, that are in the neighborhoods, okay, well, that's a different demographic, and he could be correct. But I don't want you to get seduced by the sensational percentages that he presents. I want you to apply critical thinking. The beauty industry is a very broad industry. And so you have to distill it down to, when you say 90%, Umar, what 90%, what facet of the beauty industry are you talking about? Are you talking about demographically? If you're talking about the beauty supply stores that are located in the neighborhoods, then yes, it's probably going to be higher than 90%, actually. So don't get lost in attributing this to being intellectual or to him being a scholar. He feels like that since he already has been branded the most requested scholar in Black culture, what does he say? The most requested scholar in Black something. I forgot. But anyway, because he feels like he has that segment of the market on lock, that he can just throw out these factitious numbers and nobody's going to check him on it. But like I said, for the people who are listening, just take a minute, just take a breath and apply critical thinking. And especially when he talks about, how much did he say on Quaker Oats? $2 billion was spent on Quaker Oats, but how do they know that? Who is taking the demographics of the shoppers in the grocery store? Like, unless Quaker Oats is going around doing think tanks and doing their own market research, how do they know how many dollars are spent on their product that are attributed to, quote, black, end quote, people? Because that's not part of the census. When we fill out those census surveys that come out every however many years, that's not part of it. So, Umar, where are you getting these numbers from? That is the question. I'm not going to be seduced in thinking that, oh, you're this high intellectual, which, I mean, you could be on some grounds, but not when it comes out to you throwing these, very impressive, terrific numbers out there to emotionally grasp people and their attention, and then they're giving you all kind of credibility. No, sir, that's not how this works. Give us your sources. If you're going to throw these numbers out there, you need to also provide the sources. Let's continue.
Wave caps, slick back. And so now you account for 90% of beauty purchases in America. You are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. And you want to criticize me for building a school for our children. You are a disgrace.
Now, we also going to teach your children dietary and nutritional science. I want our children to be masters of healing the body without no pharmaceuticals from the drugstore. I want that little boy back there, if mommy not feeling well, he can go out to the yard, get some herbs, boil.
Okay. So it all sounds great. And again, this is give credit to Lenon Honor, because this is his footage. And again, it sounds great, doesn't it? That we want to teach young kids how to heal themselves off of Gaia, because it's possible. And not just off of Gaia, Mother Earth, but also just being spiritually connected and spiritually in tune and calling in the healing powers from your higher source, because that's very possible. I've experienced that many a times. I'm sure a lot of people who, well, I can't say a lot because I'm not sure how many people are going to listen to this, but for some of you who are listening to this, you've also experienced spiritual healing. But, somebody came up into my comment section and they said, they were grilling me. Oh, have you ever contributed to the school? This, that, and the other. And the person also mentioned, well, maybe you should follow someone else. And then that really piqued my interest, because I said, well, that's the problem right there. That is fundamentally the problem. You're looking for someone to follow. You're looking for someone to follow instead of you being connected to your inner power, to your higher source within. And then therefore you can just follow your own intuition. So with that being said, when he's saying this, Umar, what curriculum do you have to support this? I mean, just think about it, folks. And I beg for the Umarians or the Umartards. Shout out to Lady Luck, because that's her term for those folks who blindly and stupidly follow Umar. What kind of teachers? Because that's a very specialized field, is it not? I mean, you're not going to be the teacher, because why? Because you're the principal. So what type of teachers are you going to recruit in order to support this syllabus that you are promoting or proposing for this audience. It sounds good. And see, and this is the thing that people are being hoodwinked and bamboozled by, because they're so desperate to have someone to come and seemingly pay attention to them, to come and have someone seemingly invest in them, and to have someone to come and seemingly have their best interest at heart, when Umar is actually none of that. If you hear that clanking in the background, that is my puppy looking for more food because he just finished eating. And he has an insatiable appetite. He is a Basenji, hopefully 25 pounds now, and he just has an insatiable appetite. So I'm glad that he stopped. But that was that noise in the background. But anyway, so these are very specialized fields here. And so when Umar talks about, all of these good things that sound so good, and he's selling people a bill of goods, he's selling people a bridge, he's selling, water to a fish, that's because people are desperate. They're desperate, looking externally for their validation. They're looking externally for their power. And there is a clip here that I'm going to get to a little later, not too far from now, because that's the thing that stood out to me the most of Lenon Honor's video, is that these people who are just deeply programmed, and they don't understand that they're following a person who is deeply programmed by the colonial training. He is very well trained by the colonials. And I said it before, if you listen to one of my videos before, he is one of their proudest possessions because they possess his mind.
Toilet, put a little honey in it, little cayenne pepper, and knock mommy flu right on out. I want them to be able to heal diabetes. 10 years old, and they know how to heal diabetes. That's what I want in my school. That's what we're working towards. So far, we raised $250,000.
How you want 10-year-olds to be able to heal diabetes naturally? Dr. Sebi style, is that what you're talking about, Umar? Dr. Sebi style, or, the Jamaican way? If these parents would have just, and I hope there's at least one person in that audience as he was at the Ramada Inn, according to the podium, I hope that there is at least one person that was like, this guy is full of shit. This guy is full of spectacular shit. How is he going to have a curriculum that is going to teach, that is going to have 10-year-olds being able to heal or cure diabetes? 10 years old? There's all different types and versions and levels of diabetes. And so you're going to teach these 10-year-olds like which type of diabetes it is. And then according to which type of diabetes it is, then what herbal that you're going to prescribe to the person. And then where to get those herbs from, how to source them. Do you understand? Like if you just probe a little bit, if you just dig right beneath the surface, because it's not too far from the surface, it's right underneath the surface. If you dig, just scratch your fingernail right on the surface and you'll get to the bullshit very fast. And speaking of fingernail, one flicker of your finger means the whole world to my channel. So if you're enjoying the content so far and the subject matter so far, please go ahead and like this video. And if you have not checked in, by all means, please go ahead and check in. And when I say that, I mean go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and let's continue. Thank you so much.
$1,000. I'm gracious, but I'm not content, because I know y'all got a lot more to give me than some $250,000. And Dr. Umar Johnson is trying to build a state-of-the-art school for black boys that y'all all know I need. And after 6 months, I only got $250,000. Trifling ass black people. I'm gonna call it like I say it. And I don't care if you get offended. We can handle that outside.
And that's the speak of a scholar. And I don't care if you get up in y'all trifling ass, what did he say, black folk? And I don't care if you get offended. He is grossly disrespecting y'all. And it's mostly mothers. mostly single moms, in fact. It definitely isn't alpha males who he oftentimes makes a call out to. You know, my alpha males come on through. He know alpha males ain't gonna take that. What alpha male do you know is going to allow someone to talk to them that way? So he is not appealing to alpha males. Don't get it twisted. When he says that, he is not. And hopefully I'm able to jump to this next clip that I want to jump through. You know, y'all, Lenon is funny because Lenon Honor will say, y'all, we're not going to be here too long. Like tonight on this video, he said, like every 15 minutes, he was like, yeah, we're going to be done in 10 minutes. We're going to be done in 10 minutes. Y'all, this video was 2 hours and 11 minutes. But he can't help himself. He's an Umarologist. He can't help himself. Knock yourself out, Lenon. Because you also have the CCC Cookie Crush chat that's rolling right along with you. So, you know, so why truncate it, you know? But anyway, so Umar is sitting up here blatantly disrespecting the audience. That could be single mothers, like I said, or beta males, because it definitely isn't alpha males. And y'all would sit up here and accept that. But let somebody else come along and tell you why you are where you are in your life and what you have allowed in your life to keep you in the position that you are in your life. Let somebody come along and have real talk with you, Charlie Kirk, and you all clutch the pearls and get highly offended. But here you have a person who is saying, $250,000 raised in 6 months. You all should be ashamed of yourself. We should have had 2 million within the first 30 days. How unappreciative is that? And this was back, well, you can see how far back this goes because he has short hair. So this is probably back in, you know, Lenon Honor can tell us 2019 or circa 2018, 19 or whatever. So you'll have somebody that come and tell you that the dollars that you donated wasn't enough, that you're trifling, but yet they're not going to tell you how to advance in life and how to put yourself in a different position in life. But because he is a melanated person and because he is a large in stature and because he speaks with such conviction and confidence, but it's not confidence. He is pontificating is what he's doing. It's very arrogant. Y'all want to listen to this person. But the person who can really, really shed light on how to get past or how to get from under the rule of thumb of this colonial system by tapping into your higher power and understanding who you really are. Charlie Kirk, by the way, that's the person that y'all want to call a racist. But yet and still, when I ask anyone to give me one video footage of where that supports the narrative that's been pushed out here that Charlie Kirk was a racist, everybody goes mute because there is no footage out there because it's not true. It's just easier to say, it's easier to debunk the person and calling them and slapping the label of racist on that very confining box that I told y'all about than it is to actually listen to what the person is saying and then thereby taking accountability for yourself, because that is exactly what the person is saying. But listening to people like Umar, it continues to dumb you down and your skin is so thin that you can't take the hard truth. You can't look at yourself in the mirror. You can't take a hard look at yourself in the mirror. But you know what? I also will give Umar a little bit of credit. For real. I'm going to give him a little bit of credit because I've heard him talk about taking responsibility and accountability for one's life. But then it's always followed up with, but if it involved something white or it involved something, I don't know, he'll follow it up with something that will negate the responsibility and the accountability. So it kind of just washes itself. But let's continue.
We trifling. I should have been had that $2 million. I should have had that $2 million 30 days after I started the fundraiser on May the 20th. It don't make no sense. But y'all sure call me up when the school's messing with your son. Did you make a donation to my school? Oh, not yet. Bye. Click.
Donation.
How many parents has Umar helped? And I know this is a question that Lenon Honor also has posed, and hopefully in his documentary he is able to find one or two parents, but I have a feeling that he's going to find a handful of parents that says no, that he actually did not help their son when they received a diagnosis of autism or whatever the case is. And how many parents or parent can actually say, and not somebody who is just an Umarian, but somebody that can have receipts to back it up. My school said that the school said that my child had this type of diagnosis. I called in Umar Johnson. I brought in Umar Johnson. He intervened and changed the diagnosis, or changed the plan of the teaching for my child. Like they had a certain plan or a certain class setting for my child, but then Umar came along, talked to them, got them straight, and then the plan was something more suitable or fitting for my child. So who can ever say that? And this clip right here that we're going into, where he's talking about donations, well, he better be careful, because this right here could be used as evidence, hard evidence, in what they call a wire fraud. Because Umar might just find himself having to answer to a 3-letter agency. So, got to be careful with social media and just blasting your information out there, or boasting rather. Let's continue.
Donations. Look how much black people love me. Look how much black people love me. $25 gift certificate, $25 Red Lobster gift certificate. Lord have mercy. They wear the Louis socks. If little Kim get her a Gucci bag, then all you rat lazy Negroes gonna go and do what the celebrities do. The blind is leading the blind.
This is my Prada cologne that was sent to me for my birthday last year. I got this in the mail from a supporter for my birthday, and I kept it.
Did he just call y'all ratchet? Did he just call y'all ratchet? And when he talked about, y'all will go out and do what the celebrities are doing. Well, he has a point there. I can't knock him on that. I can't disagree with him on that. He does have a point there. Again, that's part of the mental conditioning, because you think yourself more important if you, and I've seen this happen over and over. I've seen someone who worked as a manager in one of my restaurants, and every time this person came in, she was donned in all kind of high-end Gucci or Louis Vuitton. I mean, the full set, y'all, including the socks and the shoes, the full entire set. But yet you're working as a manager in this restaurant, and I know how much you make. So Umar, like I said, sometimes he touches on points where there are valid points. So we have to just be, again, hyper aware of what are we doing. Like when we put on these certain things, are those the times where we feel of value? Are those the times where we feel of importance? Are those the times where we feel that we are of some sort of stature and we want everybody to think a certain way about us? Because truth be told, there are a lot of billionaires out there that wears rinky-dink t-shirts and jeans and don't give a damn as to what nobody's, because you know why? Because they know how much they're worth on the inside. Only people, and I'm not saying that all people who dress, because I'm a label whore too. I just don't, my budget doesn't support purchasing that without something else going neglected. I'm responsible, I work well with my money, but then at a certain time, that's just not even satisfying anymore, right? So if, but not all people, and I'm not saying all people, but I would say the majority of people, especially the people that are living in the community, when you are wearing your Gucci hat and your Gucci bandana and your Gucci wife beater that's underneath your Gucci shirt and your Gucci underwear that's underneath your Gucci pants with your Gucci socks, and then, your Gucci ankle bracelet, and then your Gucci shoes. And you want people to think that, oh my God, this person has some sort of status in society. This is what makes you feel good and feel important and relative to society. Like this is, but on the inside, you feel there's a void. There's a deficit. You feel vapid. And that's the problem. So instead of doing the work to clear all of that out so that you can unearth and reveal that luminescent power that's within you, that resides within you, that may just be dormant right now. But when you do the work and you reconnect, I talk about sometimes a cucumber severed from the vine. So you reconnect the cucumber to the vine. That is your life source. And when you have that, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. I could be wearing something from Kmart, or I could be wearing something from Target or something. And I still feel the same way that I feel about me inwardly. I may feel a little cuter if I'm wearing something from, I don't know, Tory Burch or whatever. Or I may not. It really doesn't matter. But my self-worth is still intact. Do you follow what I'm saying? Okay, let's continue.
I only wear it for special occasions because it was anonymous birthday gift. A beautiful sister sent me this. Ladies, I want my birthday gifts August 21st. Don't forget. Ladies, I want my birthday gifts August 21st. Don't forget.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now, not saying that he did this thumbnail with the Gucci, but wasn't he just talking about, what's her name? Did he say Nicki Minaj? And that, when she goes out to get stuff, then y'all need to go out and get it too. So he may not have done this thumbnail, but he sure in the hell knows that it went up on his behalf. Well, all of this Gucci, do you see where the hypocrisy lies? And this is what y'all have to realize. This is what you have to, and I hope that there are some Umarians or some, I'm not going to call you Umar Tars because I'm not here to offend anyone, but I hope that there is at least one Umarian here, because when that Umarian came up into my comments and talked about this, and I said, because at first I just thought it was a bot, because they all start off with the same exact way. Here was another YouTube struggle streamer, which I was flattered, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they call me a struggle streamer, because people who are accused of being struggle streamers, they got like 650,000 followers and whatnot, and get 2,000 views within the first 12 minutes that they post their video, and it takes me 4 days to get 200 views. So the fact that they were calling me a struggle streamer, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm on my way to arriving, y'all. I'm almost there. Thank you. That is quite the compliment. They don't know. Y'all don't understand. You think that I'm being offended. You're offending me. No, you're putting me in a bracket with other people that I aim to get to. So hashtag goals. Thank you. But anyway, so because they all start off with the same thing, your YouTube struggle streamers or whatever. And so when I said, oh, another bot, I said, at this point, this must be a bot. And so the person came back and responded like, no, this is not a bot, da, 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 da. And then I said, okay, well, great. I said, well, thank you. I said, well, are you up for me asking you a few questions? And he said, sure. So I said, great. So I could have, obviously, y'all know I could have had a laundry list of questions, but I didn't. I narrowed it down to three. One, I said, and I don't know what order that I put them in, but these are the three questions. I said, do you know if Umar has a curriculum or a business plan for the school? I said, do you know what his plans are to support the expenses of the school? Because obviously you got to pay teacher salaries, you got to pay cafeteria, you got to pay for food, you got to pay for maintenance and repairs, all the things that you need to pay for when running an institution such as a school. And then the third question I asked was, if the school is non-accredited, what are Umar's plans for the students who leave that school and then go on to other institutions? Do y'all think I heard back from that person? Not a peep. And I've been watching. So I hope that a couple of you Umarians are listening right now, because here's the thing. Nobody is trying to dog or drag Umar. What my whole purpose is to look at the mindset, look how the mindset is programmed. Because if your life is going a certain way that is not suitable or pleasing or satisfying to you, then it is your mindset. It has nothing to do with nothing else besides your mindset and your perspective on yourself and on life. Because everything that you are experiencing is your inner world pushed outwardly. It's an outward expression of what's going on in your inner world. And so you tell on yourself, actually. So when you come up into my comments, like nothing you can ever say is going to make me clutch the pearls and go curl up in fetal position, because I know when I hear certain things, I know that's nothing but mental programming. And so a liberated mind speaks like a liberated mind. Their conversation is elevated. Their feedback is sophisticated, insightful. They graduate the conversation. They push the needle forward. And I can tell, okay, that's a free thinker. And I also say to people that when you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And I think I got that from Les Brown. I'm not sure who he may have gotten that from, but when you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. You don't have to convince me that the man is against you, that all of these systems are against you. You don't have to convince me. If you want to fight for your limitations, go right ahead, because guess what? You get to keep them, because I don't have those experiences, and I am a melanated person. Because my mind, I have liberated my mind from the colonial training. So I no longer operate under that programming, under that coding, under that conditioning, and therefore I vibrate on a different frequency. So I have extracted myself from that narrative, from that experience, from that propaganda of what it's like to be a quote black end quote person in America and the life that they live and all that. And the statistics, the doom statistics and all. I've extracted myself from that. I'm no longer a part of that world. Yay me. Okay, let's continue.
Ladies, I want my birthday gifts August 21st. Don't forget.
Trifling ass black people.
All right. So let me see if I can get to this other. And again, thank you, Lenon, because he puts together, y'all, I really want to know how much time that Lenon Honor, how much time it takes for him to put together these videos, because they are so very well put together. And obviously I want to know, like, did he have a learning curve like I'm having? Because y'all, I'll just be like, just let me get my videos to just let me get it up. All the bells and whistles and the okay, this is where I want to get to. All the bells and whistles and and the whole studio. Like, I'm gonna get there. I'm going to get there. And like the format of my show, like there's somebody that I started recently following. Her name is Nelly Miranda. Y'all should go and check out her channel. Very well put together. Very sharp young lady. Nelly Miranda. She has a really great show. Shout out to Nelly Miranda. So hashtag goals. Like, that's where I'm headed to. All right. So let me play this, because I just want to point out one other thing to you, and then I'm going to thank Lenon Honor for posting this video, and then I'm going to sign off. Okay, let's go.
Here's a side-by-side too. Don't worry, I got all. In 2019, when Umar got evicted, he put all of his, at least most of his personal, I shouldn't even say most.
Sorry, just let me give you some backstory. So here, Lenon Honor is picking away at another one of Umar's fantastical lies, talking about his vandalism. So what Lenon Honor is basically saying, that the vandalism didn't just happen at the time that Umar said it happened, that Umar is leveraging this to get more donations in. And I honestly don't see why Umar would sit on this vandalism and not share it or expose it at the time that it happened. I don't know why he would just sit on it. I don't know what leverage he would gain from doing that, because remember, Umar is always looking for some sort of inroads to funnel in donations. So I'm not sure why he would sit on this, but Lenon Honor was basically saying that this happened circa 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. And this is 2025. So basically he's saying that, that the dust, you could tell by the dust how long that's been sitting there. And perhaps he's right. I just understand what is behind Umar's psychology for not sharing it with the quote family, end quote, when it actually happened. So that's is my Confucius part of it. Confucius says, for all you The Wiz fanatics out there, I'm leading the pack of that. The Wiz is my favorite musical of all times. Okay, but let's go.
I'm not quite sure. He put, see this? This isn't new, but Umar tried to act like this just happened in 2025, and no one told him, no one called him about it. And in 2019, it looked fairly clean, but then Umar says that he has to clean it all up again, as if he's already, no, what he did was he just started stacking and storing all kind of shit in there, including his own belongings, and it got vandalized because it was his personal storage spot. This paint is old. This paint is old.
Inside the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy.
You got a Connect 4 in there. You got a CD in there.
Fred Douglass building.
Okay, y'all, this is a part where I really wanted to get to, that really reveals how impressionable a mind is and how programmed that a mind can be. Like, y'all, it is like, what is the word? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to cut it here, and then we'll be done with our session for today. Okay, let's go.
Some of the scholars are
Look at 2019. This is the same gym. Talking about he needs to clean it up again. We need to clean up a third time. No, it was clean in 2019, homeboy. Look at it.
University.
Can y'all see how there's dust on top of the books and dust on top of the paint? Hit the one. This could have been in here since 2020, 2019.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm talking about the vandalism, alleged vandalism. And these are all his books. You can see all his books all strewn across. And you look right there. You see a briefcase. See, he moved a lot of his personal belongings into here, and he was homeless at that time, back in 2009, into 2019. And then inevitably he moves in with his mama and started living with his mama in 2020, living in the closet.
You know what I mean?
Black power. Black power.
Up in there. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, let me take off the audio. Yeah, you look right there. You see that? See this? This isn't new, but his personal belongings inside of this.
Academy, Fred Douglass building. I'm gonna let you know some of the scholars at Ifa Tunde University.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Black
We in the
power.
school.
Black power. Black power.
You know what I mean?
Black power. Black power.
Those people didn't even believe what they were saying, because there's no such thing as Black power. You know, as many decades as we've been saying this little mantra, what has it actually done? How has it actually helped anyone? How many people have actually been empowered? And the funny thing about this is, I'm going to say this and I'm going to land my plane close of this session and lock the doors for today, is that Umar even knows that these people do not believe this. And do y'all see those gentlemen that are behind Umar? Those are not alpha males. Because alpha males would not be following a person who is spewing such idiotic nonsense. But getting back to the Black power, those people did not even believe that. These people are oppressed, are mentally oppressed, and they feel like as long as I can chant the mantra Black power, then I will free my mental oppression. And that is all, that's delusional. Because there is no thing as Black power. And I said before in one of my other videos, and let me see, which video was that? Because I'm going to post that. Okay, it was my Tisa Tells video. So after this video, if you would just click on the link, that's going to be, I think, to the left of your screen, maybe. That's going to be the Tisa Tells video, where I talk about when you put the label of Black on anything, it automatically carries a vibration of lack, of limitation, automatically. So the best thing that you can do is divorce the label of Black. The best thing that you can do is deviate from the label of Black, is free yourself from the label of Black, because that inherently is a label of lack, of limitation, of depravity, of struggle, inherently built in. Okay, so Lenon Honor, once again, thank you so much for sharing this video. That is going to be it for me today. And everyone, please, if you like this video, if you like the content of this video and the direction of my channel, and thank you for all of the encouragement that I have received thus far. You know, it goes a long way for a baby YouTuber like myself. So I really appreciate it. And please check the next video. Is Tisa, I'ma tells it like it is. So again, I kind of like, fussed around and try to do something a little bit more bells and whistly like, but really it's more of the content for me. And until I get somebody who can actually produce my videos, then, it'll be all well put together, prettier package. But until then, if you would just really just key in and just let it play and just go about your day doing what you're doing, driving some distance or having to do some chores or laundry, that's really what my videos are about. They're not really visually at this point. So thank you once again. If you have not checked in, please go ahead and check in. By checking in, I mean go ahead and subscribe to this video. And until the next time I see you in the next session, be empowered, stay empowered.